Good morning, guys. Thank you for joining today's training. So this is the third part of our training. Remember, we had the 2 sessions in the previous week. So this is the third part. So we'll make these trainings available on our YouTube channel, so you can always go back and refer to these. Today's training mainly is based on the cloud time and attendance, but we'll also be looking at other functions there of the HikProConnect, like the business module and also the health monitoring. Okay, so we can get started then. So firstly, we'll be looking at the company module. So the company module, that's where we're able to put in our company information. As you can see on this module there, that's where we are able to put in the company details there. So in here, we are able to fill in the company details. We are able to upload the logo of the company. So if you wanted to put up your logo there to be able to do that logo so that it's able to be available on the client's phone, then you're able to upload it from here as well. So as you can see here, we've got a link to link up to your website as well. So what this will mean is that on your company's, on your client's phone, on their HikConnect, they'll also have a link now to link up to your website as well. Then. All right. So also, if you look at it then on here, we are able then to set up the details that will be needed there for the client to be able to contact you as an installer. So for instance, your cell phone number, you can put up your cell phone number and the email address. So this will be visible then on the client's HikConnect app. So each time then that they need maybe to contact you if there's an issue and that, they can go into the HikConnect app and they'll be able to view these details then. So this will be for the company information that will be displayed on the HikConnect app on the user side. So just to check that you can see the benefits if we use this as a logo. On the logo, on the core branding, you are able to then be able to view the logo of your company every time the app starts up. So on your end user side, every time they start up the HikConnect app, they'll be able to see that logo of your company. And also if they go to the about option, then they'll be able to see the contact details of your company there as well. So if you look at employee management, so employee management is also available under the business module. So this is where as the administrator, you'll be able to create employees and give them specific permissions there so that they're able to work on your sites. So as you can see, the structures that as the administrator, so as the company boss, you'll then create that HikPro account, the main HikPro account. From there on, you'll then be able to invite your site managers. So your site managers will be like your IT managers or your normal technicians. So if you invite those through, you send them an invite via email. So then on their site, you'll get an email to register their HikProConnect account, but that HikProConnect account will be linked to the main administrator there. So it will be linked to the permissions that this administrator has given through to them. Right. As you can see, the site owner there, which is the end user, these end user then are able to give permissions to the technicians. So they'll be able to notify the technicians, they'll be able to give specific permissions to technicians as to what is needed. So if you look at the type of permissions that these end users can give to the technicians, we're looking at your configuration, we're looking at your live view, and we're also looking at your playback permissions. So these are the type of permissions that these site owners can give the site managers. But as an administrator, the type of permissions that you can then give to your site managers. So this is to manage their sites. This will be one to manage all sites. So if they've got this, they can manage all sites that are linked to their accounts. Manage assigned sites. This will allow them only to manage sites assigned to them. And manage account and role will be to manage accounts and role. And manage company information there will be to be able to update the company information like your cell phone number and the website and that. And manage service package order. That's where they will be able to then buy services for the site owners, your services like the time and attendance and your cloud storage then. All right, so if you just look at the whole setup there, you'll see that when you are administrator there, you just need to send that email through. When you're creating the user, you send an email through to them. They then receive that email. Once they've got the email, they register on their site. And once they've registered on their site, then they be able to create new sites for your end users that they'll be able to link up to them. So in terms of permission, you can see that your end users can be able to edit the permissions at any time then. So if the end user doesn't want to give you that live view permission or configuration permission, that they can revoke at any time then. So we're just going to look at the process then to set that up on the HikProConnect. You'll see that once you're logged in on the HikProConnect and you go under company and under the roles and permission, there you've got an option to add a role then. So before we can invite employees that to our HikProConnect, we need to first add a role for them then. So the first thing is to add a role. So it will be the type of role that this employee will have. So like we've discussed, it can be either to manage all sites or manage the assigned sites and that. So you select a specific role there. Once you've got that role selected and created, and then that's when we are able then to invite employees to that with that specific role. So when you add an employee, you just need to specify their email address in here, and then you select a specific role that you want to assign to that employee. So the employee on their side, they will then receive an email. So with that email, there'll be a link that they need to follow to register their HikProConnect. Once they've registered, then you'll see that under your site, under employees, if you were to refresh the screen, then you'll be able to see that the employee will appear there with the type of permissions that you've given through to them then. Also, if the employee, maybe if the employee was to leave work or maybe they're on leave, you don't want them to access any of the sites and that, then you're able to disable their account, and you can also permanently delete their account here as well. So that just allows you to manage the employees. In terms of the reports that we can get here, we can get reports of up to 90 days. So you're able to search what each employee did at each site. You can select a specific employee, select a specific site, and then the date that you want to search from. And then you're able to get records as to what each employee did at which site. You're able to see the device that they worked on and also the operation that they did on that specific device then. So with this, we can get a report of up to 90 days for each specific employee. Right, the next part that we'll look at our cloud time and attendance. So we'll just look at how that works and how that whole system goes then. So just to look at the workflow of this, so you've got the installer here using the HikProConnect. So the HikProConnect, this can be either be on the phone using the app, or it can be on the portal there. So if you logged in onto the web portal then. So with that, you are able to create the site, you install the device for the client, then you hand it over to the client, and you're also able to then enable this cloud TNA service. So this cloud TNA service is only available through the HikProConnect. Once you've enabled this cloud TNA service for the end user who would normally be your company boss or your HR officer, they're then able to log in via the portal. So this is on the portal for the HikConnect. If you go on your web browser and use this URL here, you're able to get onto the portal for HikConnect. Once they're logged in then they're able to do employee management. So they're able to create employees from there and delete employees. And they can also do access control management. This is where they can control now which employee has access to which door. They can also do time and attendance, where then they're able to set specific shifts for these employees. And now we've got the end users now, so the employees on their side. So the employees using the HikConnect app, they're able to upload their own face pictures. So it means that the employee, once they're registered here, they can then upload their own face picture onto the system. And they can also get the attendance results overview. So this is the history of their attendance. So they're able to see that through the app itself. If given the permission, they're able to remotely open the door and get a live view of the door. So depending on the permissions that have been given by the employer. And also they can do GPS clocking there. So if they're doing off-site work and that, they can then use their app to clock in and clock out on the system. So you can see this is supported by our Minmo terminals, but it's not all our Minmo terminals. So we do have a compatibility list that's available on the HikProConnect. So once you logged in here under compatibility list, you can get a list of the supported devices. Just for the whole workflow, you'll see that the company will need to find a service provider or installer who's registered on HikProConnect. And from there on, they'll need to have the this Hikvision service provider needs to set up the cloud-based time and attendance for them. So they'll need to set up the service for the user. Once this is set up, then the user is able then to register their own employees, and also then the employees themselves will be able to do their own operations like checking their attendance overview and also doing GPS clocking as well. I think we've got a question there. Let's quickly check. I think the question is, how do we know if it is a Minmo terminal? I think the best thing is to check on the compatibility list. So under the compatibility list, there's an access control compatibility list. So it will give you all the supported devices there for this cloud TNA there. So yeah, once you logged in on the HikProConnect, you can check on that compatibility list. Right, so if you look at the key features of the system, is that we're able to do employee management via cloud. So we support the face and card method there. So you're able to upload face pictures, and also you're able to put in the card number via cloud there to add the employees. Also, we're able to do access control templates where we can limit the time when the employees have access to the system. So with this template, we can maybe specify times maybe from 8 to 5 that only the employees can have access. After that, there's no access. And we can also create access control groups where we can group these employees now and group our access points as well. So we can decide now which employee has access to which specific access points. So we're able to create all these access groups. Let's quickly check. I think we have another question. Thanks. Where in the app is the compatibility list? Okay. All right, I'll check that for you on the app, but if you go into the portal itself, there on the first page of the portal, on the top right, I think on the portal there, if you check on your top right, there's an option for compatibility list. But on the app there, I'll check that for you. I'll just send it through in the chat a bit later on. Right. This will also support your overtime, your break time, your holiday, and your leave settings. So as per requirement, you can then set that up. And you can also do timetable management then. So timetable management then will be able then to you're able to set your start time and end work times and all that. We're able to do your shift schedule. So with your shift schedule, you're able to assign then a shift to the specific users. You can also do your attendance records and reports from here. So you're able to draw all the specific reports then. You're also able to automate these reports so that you don't need to go into the system to draw these reports. So you can automate these reports so that they can get sent to you via email on a daily basis or on a weekly basis as per your requirement. And the employees themselves on their side, they're able to do employee self-service where they're able to check their own attendance history, and they can also do GPS clocking using their phones. Right, if you were to look at how to enable this, so the first thing, once you've got your site and that, under the site there, you've got that option for cloud attendance, then you just need to add the cloud attendance there. Once you've added the cloud attendance, you will then need to add your access control device that you want to link it to. So once that is done, it will give you a link to go into the HikConnect portal, or you can just go directly to hik-connect.com. But if you follow this link as well, then that will take you then to the web portal. So that's where you're able to then create users and give them access control and that. So you'll see that once you're logged in onto that portal there, so you'll know if you're used to the previous page there for the hik-connect.com, our portal there, you have your device management option where you're able to see your devices that are linked to you and that. So at the moment now, if you log in, you'll be redirected to this cloud TNA system. But if you do want to go back to the device management, there is an option to go to device management, and also from device management to come back to the cloud TNA, there's an option then to switch the screen to that. But as you can see, once you logged into the cloud TNA through the browser, these are the options that we've got available there. You've got your person where you can add people, you've got your access schedule, you've got your access group, system config, and all your basic settings for your time and attendance and your shifts and that. So first one we'll look at will be the person management. So under person, there you see that you were able to first create the different departments as per requirement. So if you've got maybe an organization with different departments, so you can first create the different departments. And then once you've created the departments, you can then create the users for those departments. And that's when you can go and add the specific user to that specific department. But we've also got an option to import the users from a device. So you'll find that if you already had this system already working, maybe you had a Minmo terminal already working, registered with all the users, but now you just want to convert to the cloud TNA, then you don't need to redo the users again. You can just import them from the device. So you can use this option here. As you can see now, once you click on the add option here, then this allows you to then be able to add the information that's required for the specific person then. So whilst adding the person, the details that you'd get there is to put in the first name, the mobile name, and their middle name and their last name. And then you can also have the option then to enable the cloud TNA. So if you've enabled this cloud TNA for them, then it means that they're able to use their HikConnect app to be able to do their GPS signing, to be able to view their attendance, their attendance overview. So you need to enable this there for them. So how this would work is if it's an employee that doesn't have any HikConnect account and that, when you enable this, you just need to specify their email address or their phone number. They will then receive an SMS or an email with a link that they've been invited onto the system. Then they just need to follow that link there on that SMS or email to register their account. Then that will then give them an option to log in onto the HikConnect app. In terms of the authentication methods that are supported, we support face and card. You can see we've got an option here of uploading the face picture directly from here. So if you've got that face picture on your PC and you're registering the person, you can just upload it directly from here. But if you don't have that face picture, then you can invite the person via the mobile phone. Then the person can then upload their own face picture using the app itself. And on here as well, we can also add the card number. So if you do know the card number that you want to assign to a specific person, you can add that card number here while creating the person. Now, if you've created your access groups already, so these will be the doors that the person will have access to and that. So during creating the person, that you see they've got an option of selecting the access level that they will have. So then they've got an option then of adding that as access level. So you can select which doors you want to assign to them already whilst creating them. And also you can select the shift that this person will be assigned to as well. So by the time you finish creating that person, they'll already be assigned the access level, and they'll already be linked to a shift schedule as well. Right, the next one we're going to look at is the access control management. So this is to limit the time that the person can have access to on this device. So if they authenticate anytime outside of the times that we set here, they won't have any access there onto the device. So to set that up, you'll see that under the access schedule template, then you've got an option of setting up a template here. So on this template, you'll set the time, then that you'll want the people to have access to this device. So you can just draw the time, the start time to the end time. Then. I think we've got a question there. Let's quickly check. How many clients can we add on the HikConnect app? So this system, since it's cloud-based, there's no limit to the number of clients and number of devices that you can add to it, since it's cloud-based. So we don't have any limit at all to the number of devices or the number of clients that you can add to the system. Right, so this will allow you then to create your template that then you will need to assign to your users. So once this template has been assigned to those users, it means they won't have access to the system outside of those specified times then. So you can also create a holiday as well. So if you know specific days will be holidays and that you can then create a holiday and then create an access template for that holiday. So maybe if you know on a holiday, the people must not have access and that, then you can create a specific template for that holiday as well. Now under the access group then, so once you've created this template and that, now if you want to create an access group where now we assign multiple people to a number of doors and that, then we can create an access group. So in here we see we just need to add the access group. Now important things when you add the access group there, you need to select the devices. So this will be the terminals or doors that these people need to have access to. So you select all the doors that they will need to have access to. And then if you look at the permissions that these people will have, we've got 3 types of permission. One will be to check in and check out locally and to open door. So if you've given them this permission, it means that once you've applied to this group, the person can go and authenticate locally on that device. They'll have an option there as well to remotely open door. So if you've given them this permission, they can use the HikConnect app to open the door remotely, and they've got a remote or live view as well. So this will allow them to live view the door. But these are permissions that you can choose how to assign to your users. And then you need to select the people then that we need to put into that access group. See if you click on this plus sign here, then that will give you an option to select the users that will be part of this access group. And then the last part will be the template. Now remember the previous template that we've created, the access template. Now you need to select the template that these users now will need to be assigned to. You will select that template and then you apply this. So once you've applied this, it means that all the users now that you've created here will have permissions on the specific doors that you've selected them. In terms of time and attendance, you can see that we support overtime them. So you're able to enable overtime there, and you can set the specific calculations for the overtime and also for holidays. So once you specified your holidays on the system, you can set the system then to calculate at a specific rate and on those specific holidays. And also you support different leave types. So these leave types will be used for your attendance correction. So if a person was not in the previous day, they come in, then the following day, they tell you that they were sick and that, and you want to update now your report. So you can go back on the system, do your attendance correction, and then assign them to the sick leave so that your report shows the correct info. Yeah, so if you do need any leave types, so we've got ones that are there by default, but if you do need your additional leave types, then you can add those leave types as well. Also have an option to automate the reports. So this scheduled report will automate the reports for your users. So it means that you can select the users that you want to receive reports for, the type of report that you want to receive, and then select the frequencies to when you want to receive this report. So you can get an email with this report maybe on a daily basis or on a weekly basis as per requirement. I think you can send to up to about 5 email accounts here. So you can put up to 4. I think it's up to 4 email accounts that you can send these reports to, right? This we can also enable the GPS clocking. So the GPS clocking, then nice part with this, we've got the 2 parts, which is the on-site GPS and the off-site. So if you've enabled the on-site GPS, then you're able to specify the address that the person needs to be within before they can clock, and also the range as well. So if a person is going to work, maybe if one of your employees is going to work at a different site, you put in that site address and then you put in a range, maybe around maybe 500 meters or so. And then the person will only be able to clock in via the phone if they are within that range there on the site. So you can enable that for them as well. I think we've got a question. Let's quickly check that. Will there be a template for basic South African holidays, or should we input them manually? No, unfortunately, no, we don't have a template for South African holidays, so you'll need to do that manually then. And another question is a snapshot of the person clocking with the phone captured at the time of clock? No, at this stage, we don't capture a snapshot. So what we capture on the system is just the GPS location of that person. And yeah, and then on that clocking, so we just capture the GPS location. But yeah, we don't capture a snapshot. So yeah, I understand how that would be a problem. If maybe somebody gave somebody else their phone then to do the clocking for them. But at this stage, we're only doing the GPS clocking. It doesn't take any snapshot of the user. Yeah, no, I see. I think with that snapshot, I think it's quite a good idea. It's a good idea for that snapshot. It's something I'll put through there. Something I'll put through to our R&D team. It's something that will improve the security on the device, because then the person won't have a chance of giving somebody else their phone to do the clock in there for them. Yeah, it's something we'll look at that. Yes. Right. So if we had to look at the timetables, then when you create a timetable, the timetable is to specify as to the start time and the end work time for your shifts. So if you've got shifts, then that run on a specific way, like, maybe from 9 to 6 and that, then you need to create a timetable then for that specific shift then. So a timetable will specify the start time and the end time, and also the valid check-in times. But also if you have users that are working like a flexi shift and that, you've got an option for the man-hour shift. So the man-hour shift is like a flexi shift. You should just require the person to work the specified number of hours. So it will not be worried about the start time and the end time. And then they support your break duration there as well. So if you enable this, then the users will need to go and sign in for break and sign out for break as well. So you're able to get your accurate records. And also once we've created this, then it shows you your preview there as to, you see on this one, for instance, you're able to sign in between 9 and 10, you can sign in, and between 6 and 7, you can sign out there. So this is just will show you an overview of what you've created there on the timetable there. So you can create different timetables depending on how many shifts you've got. So if you've got different shifts with different timetables, then you can just create all different timetables there as per your requirement. All right. Now, once you've got your timetables created, then you can go and create your shift then. So you can see when you create your shift, you just need to select the timetable then that will be used for that specific shift. So the shift you can repeat by week or you can repeat by day as per the requirement. And also you can enable overtime. You can enable overtime for the specific shift. So once you enable overtime, it means that the overtime will be calculated on the shift. If you've got holidays that you've created as well, you can then add those holidays onto the shift so that they don't get calculated. You can add these holidays here as well. So you can have as many shifts as you require there, just depending on the requirement. Right, then once we've created the shift, the next step will be to assign these shifts to our employees then. So you can see we've got an option of assigning this to a group of employees. So we can assign to the whole department if we know that the whole department will need to work the same shift, so we can assign that. Or we can assign this to a specific person. If the specific person needs to work a specific shift, then we can assign it in that way. When you do assign there, you've got an option then to select the effective period. So this will be from the start time of the shift to the end time of the shift then. So you can assign that to the user. Once assigned to the user, we are able to get an overview of which shift is assigned to the user. So if you were to go into the users themselves, you're able to then see which shifts are assigned to them. So if you needed to change the shift, maybe and put them in a different shift, and that you're able to edit that and add them to a different shift. Or if you needed to delete them from that specific shift, then you're also able to delete them from that shift. In terms of attendance record management, we can see these are records from the devices that are now calculated against the shifts that we've created. So we'll see that if the details don't match up, it will show as absent because now these records are calculated against the shifts that we've created then. So we've got an option to recalculate. So if you want to recalculate there, you can recalculate and select specific users, or you can recalculate for all the users. And we also support your batch correct attendance records. So with this, it's something that you would use if you wanted to correct the records for your employees. For instance, if it was a holiday and you didn't specify that it was a holiday on the system and none of the employees came through, but on the system, it will show all of them as absent. So you can just use this batch attendance and change that to a holiday so that your report is up to date. It doesn't show them as absent. So this is where you'll be able to search for records for the users to see what time they came in and what time they checked out as well. And also we're able to get the raw check-in records from the device. So the raw check-in records, these are not compared against the shift. So these are the actual records that are on the device itself. So if a user authenticated 5 times in a day on that specific device, all those records will show up here. So it will not show those records that are related to the shift. It will show all the records that are on that specific device. But then with this, we can only get records of up to 31 days. So this normally is used for when you're correcting your attendance. If you were to check if maybe a specific person says, no, I did sign in, but you're not picking up their record, you can get these raw check-in records. You can see that maybe they signed in within outside of the specified sign-in times. So you're able to see all of that, and then you can then rectify that for them. In terms of the reports that we support, you can see we support different types of reports. So your daily report, your monthly overview, your abnormal attendance report. So these are people that are absence report, your early leave report. So different types of reports that we support in here. So these are reports that you can draw from the system. So you see if when you select the type of report, you need to select the users that you want to get the report from there. So you can select all of those users that you want to get the report from, and you select the start time and end time for the report. And we support different types of formats for the report. So it's 3 types. We can support an Excel, a CSV, and also a PDF report. I think we've got somebody that raised their hands then, Dabe. Give me a second. Hi, Dabe, do you have a question for us? Hi, Dabe, do you have a question for us? Okay, now I think we can continue then. Right, so yeah, this will just allow you then to export the report, so you can have that report in different formats then. So when you download this report, you download it locally then onto your PC then. Right now, on the user side then, you can see that on the user side, once we've enrolled them then, so the employee side on their HikConnect app, they will have this access and attendance option. So this is available under the cloud service there. So on the HikConnect app, once they are logged in and they've registered their account, they will have this access and attendance option there available for them. And on this, they are able to upload their face picture. So once the administrator has registered them on the system, you create your user, just give them a name, surname, and you invite them on the system via their mobile. Then the user, the employee themselves, they're able to upload their own face picture. So they can upload their face picture using their phone. And once this is uploaded, then it will upload onto the terminal itself. So the user will be able to go and authenticate on the terminal there. They can get also the overview of their attendance there. So if they want to check the history of their attendance, they can check that for a specific day to show them what time they came in and what time they checked out. So this will just help with your disputes so that when it gets to payday, then everybody is clear as to what records are on the system then. And also we've got the option there to live view and also to remotely open the door. So this is if we've given them that permission there. So when you're creating that access group, if you've given them that permission to remote view or open the door, then they'll be able to do that through their app. In terms of on-site GPS clocking, as you can see on the app here, we've specified an address for them that they need to be within. So once they're within that address, then and only then and on the HikConnect app, they're able to do the check-in. So they can check in on the app. Now with the offsite check-in then we don't specify any address. So, but it will capture the address that they are in at that specific moment. But they can be at any specific address there because we have not specified any address. But it will capture whichever address they are at that specific time. And we're able to check those records. So the employees themselves, they're on the HikConnect app, they're able to check those GPS clocking records so they can see exactly when they signed in and that. All right, next, I think we're just going to look at the how-to video. Oh, I think we've got a couple of questions here. Let's have a look. Hi, Mansoy, do you have a question for us?
Yes, I'd like to know if there is a chance for me to edit the site name and to move one device from one site to the other. Is that possible? I don't know. I have not been able to do that since on my HikProConnect.
HikProConnect. All right. Yeah, to move one device, to move a device from one side to another, yes, that is possible. So what is the situation? Is that device now linked to a new person, or what's the situation? Why are you moving from one account? If why are you moving from one side to another?
Actually, I migrated all my device from HikConnect. So the site is like the site were just created automatically with weird names. They are not even, they don't even, I don't know what they mean. It's just a combination of letters and numbers. So I want to rename them and customize my site name so that I know exactly how my site could be managed.
Right. I think the easiest way to do that would be to remigrate the devices. I think if we were to delete that site and then remigrate the devices from HikConnect. When you're migrating from HikConnect, it gives you an option to select which device you want to migrate, and it also gives you an option to create a site for that device. So what I'm picking up is that all your devices are just linked to one HikConnect. So that's why it's migrating them all of them onto one site. But now when you're doing the migrate, you can select a specific device that you want to migrate, then select the specific site that you want to migrate it to, or create a new site for it. So we'll need to migrate each one of them one by one so that they're all on their correct specific sites.
Thank you very much, sir.
No problem. Cool. Let's see. I think we've got another question there. Oh, I think it was Carl as well saying he's got the same issue. Yeah, I think the main thing there that's important when you're migrating sites across, you just need to make sure that when you migrate these sites across, you select a specific device that you want to migrate. So, because you find that sometimes you may be managing 5 devices, but it's different sites, but they're all linked to one HikConnect account. So if you just do one migrate, it's going to migrate all those devices into one site. So when you do the migrate, you need to select a specific device that you want to migrate first and select the site for it. So do it one by one. So all these devices will be grouped onto their all separate sites. Right, I think we just, the last part, we'll look at the video. There's just the video will show the whole setup as to how to do the configuration there. So from the HikProConnect portal to the end user on their HikConnect app. I think we've got a question on the video. Let's quickly maybe address it. Oh yeah, unfortunately the video has no sound there. It just shows the operation there on how to set up the whole system. But I think at the moment you can see we're just now adding the device there. So the main thing is to first enable the TNA system. So once you've enabled that, the next part is to add then the device that will be used for that system. So that will be your access control terminal that will be used for the specific system. And as you can see, we can link now our device to our cloud TNA system. So if you've got multiple devices, if it's a big building with multiple devices, we can select all those devices then. And so this is on the end user site on his HikConnect app. So he needs to authorize the device then so that it's authorized to him and he'll be able to do the cloud TNA. Now, once authorized, then that's when we're able to get access now to the HikConnect portal where we're able to create users and that. As you can see, you can create an employee, just put in their names, last names. So these are all the type of options that are available there that we can use them. Now this is to create different departments, and then you can add employees to different departments. So this is to invite now the employee to join the cloud TNA. So this will send them an email on their site so that they're able to then register their own account for the cloud TNA. Now we can create an access group where we can group all our employees there and the access devices that we've got. So got one device here. Then these are the permissions then that we can give to the specific employee. So depending on the requirement. And we can select the employees then that we want to add on that access group. Yeah, once you go add and apply, so then these employees will then be applied onto those devices remotely. And then this will just be our shifts there, where you can see we can create specific timetables there for our shifts. So this will just be the color that will then appear when you select this timetable on our shift. And then from our shift, we're able to select then the timetable that we've created. Then the next step is just to assign that shift then to a different user. Then. So you can assign that shift to the person that needs to have access to that shift. All right, yeah, so that will all be for the setup there. So this will just be the setup showing you how to configure the setup through the portal there. So you can see on the portal, we're able to create our users. We're able to create our access groups, and we're able to assign users to those specific access groups. And that once then the users are created there, when they're end, they're able to upload their own face pictures. Then these face pictures will get applied on these devices that they've been given access to. So the nice thing is that all of that is done remotely then. Or if you do have those pictures for the users locally, you're able to upload those pictures then for those users locally so that the users are applied on those devices. I see we've got two questions here. One is asking about when is the training for the installation of access control and time and attendance. Okay, for that, I'm going to share our training department's email. You can send them an email there, then they'll give you the training schedule there for the year. So you can then register with them there for that. I think they have it, I think, once or twice in a month. But yeah, you'll be able to get the training schedule for them. I'll send that email through to you. Then I've got another option from Brian, question from Brian. They're asking the remote view, is that for attendance view, e.g. as staff arrive, or for CCTV and access? So that remote view you can use for different reasons then. You can use for different reasons. But basically what that allows you is just to get a live view of what's on the access control terminal then. So for instance, maybe if you're expecting a specific person to come through, but you're not in the office, but then you need to open up for them and that, then you can maybe use that to live view to see if they are there already. And then you can also remotely open the door there for them. But it's just basically to give you a live view of what the gate station or the access control device is looking at. So it can depend on the requirement as to what you want to use it for then. Let's see, I think. Right, then I think the last part, we're just going to be looking at the health monitoring then. So the health monitoring there, at the moment, if you do add new devices, and that would do give you free health monitoring for those devices. So you'll see that the health monitoring there gives you the dashboard where you're able to view the statuses for your devices. So you'll know if your device is offline or online, or if there's any issues on the device itself. And if anything fails on the device there, like your hard drive or your recording stops and that, then you're able to get real-time notifications of that so that you can attend to them. You're also able to configure linkage rules once you've enabled the health monitoring. So this allows you then to be able to do the linkage rules where you can link up your intercom systems to your cameras or link up your alarm to your access control device. So that will give you that option to do that. You're able to then create, manage employee roles and permissions. So once you've enabled this, then we give you additional installer accounts. So then you can manage employee roles and permissions so that you can invite additional installers there. So you see that you can have 4 additional employee accounts after you've enabled the health monitoring. And you can get log management. So log management there would be for both your exceptions that have occurred on your devices, and it will also be for your employees as well to check what they did on each site. And also you get co-branding. So the first time you enable the health monitoring, it will give you the co-branding, which allows you then to upload your logo so that your end users are able to see your logo. And also you get unlimited number of devices for basic package functions. So it means like your remote configuration and your password resets and that, all that, you get an unlimited number of devices that you can add to be able to do that for you. So just you can see what we can get here. So in terms of the online and offline status, so the status for online and offline, it gets updated every 4 minutes. Whereas your other statuses there will get updated every 30 minutes. So this gives you this nice centralized dashboard. So once you logged in here, you can see exactly which devices are giving issues and that. Also with their exceptions, so any hard drive failures or any record failures, those get sent through to your portal, or if you're using the app itself, it gets sent through into the HikProConnect app. And you can also specify an email address that this can get sent through to, so that exception can be sent via email. And we can get now a record of these exceptions. So you're able to do then search for records of these exceptions for up to 7 days. Then you can export this in a Excel or CSV or PDF format, depending on the requirement. All right, so I think thank you very much, guys, for your time. I think that will be the end of our training. You can scan any of these QR codes there to download the HikProConnect app, or if you want to get access to the portal, you can scan this one. And to download the HikConnect app, there you can scan this QR code here. Do we have any questions or any concerns or things that I can assist with?